Ashes. And the opening quote is from Omar Khayyam from the Rubaiyat, which was my grandfather's favorite work. Awake, for morning in the bowl of night has flung the stone that puts the stars to flight, and lo, the hunter of the east has caught the Sultan's turret in a noose of light. July 1991. Just ran the hills in summer's heat, runners high and dehydration, salted skin, just enough to seed hallucination, while strong songs of insects distort through waves of heat, heard and felt through slowing heartbeat. Through this haze, I drive a lazy left turn exiting the parking lot onto Highway 130 and stall my car in the middle of the road as a small red pickup comes around the bend too fast, barreling into my driver's side door. Buckling metal seen slow motion enough, bumper shape recognized, reaching my hip, prelude to a crushed spine. Ah, death. I blink reflexively and open my eyes to find that rhythmic insect buzz through heat distortion. My car stalled perpendicular to the lanes, but no red truck, no crushed door or spine, and wonder as I start the engine, what is dream? July 1993. While filling my gas tank in the late afternoon, I turned to find that red pickup at another pump. No driver in sight, no hose filling the tank. Maybe I am dead. Maybe these last 2 years are exhausted milliseconds, reality finally breaching. But I'm on a mission to recover my grandfather's ashes. So I decide I'm alive enough to begin the first leg of this ceremony. San Jose to Denver in 24 hours. You see, back in 1986, Grandpa's ashes were tossed in Lake Michigan instead of the northern Wisconsin lake he requested. The lake where 2 years earlier we spread Grandma's ashes along the lily pads she adored on the western shore. Grandpa passed away in November. His ashes would have to wait for a summer to be named later. But my evil ex-stepmother claimed to have manipulated the exhausted caretakers into the Lake Michigan Compromise with her confused and selfish wisdom. An exact quote, "Doesn't all water ultimately join with all other water? Well, Jesus Christ, you could have flushed them then." During the 24-hour no-sleep drive to Denver, I imagined elaborate rituals to recover his ashes from Lake Michigan. But when I finally arrive and the car is parked, a wave of doubt and exhaustion rolls me over. Why the hell is an atheist returning ashes that don't exist to fulfill the request of an atheist grandfather? I settle into my car seat, ready to collapse, and with a sigh look into the rearview mirror to find my grandmother in the back seat, using my wool blanket like a shawl, her face angry and disappointed. With shame, I turn around to face her, to confirm her feelings and her existence. But all I find is the wool blanket. I slowly turn back to check the rearview mirror. She is no longer there, nor is my sleepiness or despair. So I roll my car downhill from Denver to Milwaukee. Lake Michigan, 3 days later. I'm in my swim trunks, sitting in the shallow water of a beach near the pier where Grandpa was dumped. For all these hours, imagining grand choreography and great prostrations to conjure Grandpa into a noble vessel, and I'm pouring wet sand into a plastic jug. A little boy with a red pail and yellow shovel splashes next to me. He scoops some sand into his pail, then turns and offers me his shovel. No thanks, friend. Though I only have a half gallon of sand bottle, to scoop any more might imply Grandpa was partly pulled into that bright red pail. Feeling like a complete idiot, I bid adieu to my new friend and scurry up the beach, avoiding all eye contact. Northern Wisconsin, 28 hours later. Finally, I arrive at the lake, but the only resort that existed has become a private residence. The owner comes out of his home as soon as I pull into the driveway. He eyes me suspiciously. How frantic do I look? To assure him, I describe my time spent on the lake as a child, the owners of the resort, my parents, grandparents, and siblings. But this brief exchange builds little trust, and I dare not describe the jug of Grandpa, Lake Michigan pollution, and probable little boy urine, followed by a jaunty request to borrow a rowboat to dump all that in this pristine spring-fed lake. Though I have an urge to knock him down and steal the nearest rowboat, I remember the old bar and bait shop, abandoned on the eastern side of the lake and abruptly leave. After snaking through some 10 dead-end dirt roads, I begin to see sky through the trees. The building is abandoned, but sitting alongside it, that red pickup truck. As I pull in and park, 2 Dobermans come running out, barking and circling my car. Their uncropped ears, pierced and patterned from years of fighting in bramble, let light shine through like stars. Shit. Dogs of death in an evil pickup truck. I'm about to surrender, but remember I'm dead. So I simply drift through the car door, plant my feet in the gravel, and exhale. The first sound is my heartbeat, followed by the subtle sound of a faint breeze caressing pine needles, nearly like a sigh. And no dogs, and no red truck. And yes, a living heartbeat, the rhythm and bass breathing with the trouble of the wind. Shoes scuff old concrete steps as I carry Grandpa down to the lake. The sun plays with the clouds as I lay on the pier, hands and arms dangling in the lake, Grandpa's sandy mound building slowly. Awake, for too many days passed in rest, so imagination created this quest, and lo, water and sky dancing as light, the lovers bright, and finally abreast.